So hey there, we are back at it once again, and yeah, we didn't get a new car for the shoot because the guy who was supposed to get us the car like before, he ended up going to a club once again, and yeah, things didn't go down so well. So I gave a call to a friend of mine and borrowed his car. So I got some backup for the day, and it's not something new, but we are taking a trip down memory lane, a blast from the past. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the India-made G-Wagon. So basically, this vehicle is not some Bollywood copy of a Hollywood film. This is a proper, authentic licensed vehicle by force from Daimler Benz themselves. So it's not just the body that you're looking at, even the heart and soul of this thing is a Benz. So basically, the heart and soul of this thing, like I said, is a Daimler Benz engine. Now, yeah, although it's built by force, okay, the technology used and all that kind of stuff is a licensed thing from Daimler Benz themselves. So this is a 2.4 liter. It's a non-turbocharged engine. Now, I know a diesel, would probably need turbocharging. So there was a turbocharged variant of this, but even at that time, power was not really a big deal. This thing would get going even with what it had. So this is a 2.4 liter non-turbo diesel, giving out for like about 61 brake horsepower. The turbocharged variant, of course, pushing out another 10 horsepower, taking it up to 71. But yeah, it's still a Benz. So when we see Force as a company today, and we see their vehicles and the kind of people that drive, we have this perception in mind that it's the not so good crowd that drives it. So like when I say Force vehicles, I mean like the Cruiser, the Tufan, maybe the new Trax, the extra long wheelbase and stuff like that. And but even though the crowd that may drive this car nowadays, might not be the best crowd, but if you see the vehicle underneath, it's much more than what we know. Now, Force is not just, they don't make cars for themselves. They have been in collaboration with Mercedes-Benz for more than a decade now. Recently they signed up with BMW, so they are not only building cars for themselves, but they are building engines, then you can say wheel axles for Benz. They are building engines for BMW, and not a very long time back, they actually bagged a contract for Rolls-Royce. Now, when I say Rolls-Royce, they are not building cars for Rolls-Royce, of course. They are actually building the engines for their generators. So they have come a long way, and even though, as we would say it, like Force is not doing so well, they are doing really well. Like back in 2016, they produced almost 60,000 engines and wheel axles for Benz. That's from the time they started out. So each year, Force produces 20,000 engines and 20,000 axles for Mercedes-Benz. And for BMW, they are currently building the 4-cylinder diesel engines and 6-cylinder diesel engines. So if you have any friends out there that own these high-end cars and they start bragging about their cars made in Germany and all that, I think unless it's a CBU or they can prove it to you that it's a CBU, I think you should tell them that their cars are very well made in India by a company called Force. And then I think you should see the look on their face, if you know what I mean. So apart from the story I told you back there, coming to this car specifically, this baby right here is 24 years old and still going strong. Now, if you see this car on the inside, it's like, you know, nice plain old school stuff. Nothing fancy, no electronics, nothing at all. All you get is a nice steel dashboard. You get the old school grab handle that, you know, always prevailed on the G-Wagon, and you still get that. So that's a cool thing to have right there. You get 3 simple gauges to tell you how fast you're going, how much fuel you have in your tank, and how hot your engine is getting. A good gear lever, nice and big, 4-speed manual gearbox, a big black steering wheel right in your face. So, you know, when you're here, you have to work it out while you're driving, and you don't have a lot of distractions as such. There isn't even a music system right here, so if you want to listen to songs, I think you better pack up your folks in the back there, and I just ask them to sing. And the thing is, the boot right here is so big. I think if you're thinking of doing a long trip, even say a trip across countries and continents, so you can even put a bed in there and just move around. So now I'm going to take a spin in this car. For starters, it's really scary to drive cars that are this old, but I am really honored in the first place to drive this. So I really like to thank the owner for this opportunity. So let's go. Just a small thing on how this thing drives. First of all, it really feels old. You know, you have to really work your way through this thing. It's no joke. It is scary, but it's fun. This smile on my face right now tells the full story. Yeah, so this thing feels like you're driving a bus. It's really big. Manual steering, so you can see me working my way out. It does feel like you're driving something really old, I'll tell you that much. You know, you can hear all the vibes, you can feel all the vibes, all the clicks, all the ticks, everything, and it just makes this feel nice. You know that the car is not doing the work for you, you are doing the work here, and it just feels special. And you know, everything works here. The temperature gauge works, the fuel gauge works, the speedo works. So even after 24 years, this thing is still as good as new. I can say that when it came out from the showroom, and this car has recently been restored by the owner. So things work. You know, it's not like some old school thing that you would say things don't work and all that. The owner has literally spent a lot of time putting this car back together, so it feels really nice, and it feels like driving a Land Rover Defender, if I would say. And like I said, there's no distractions in here. There's no screen and playing songs and all that. You know, it's just you sit in this thing for the drive, so that feels good. I'm just doing like 40 kilometers per hour, so fingers crossed I'm not going to take this any further. The brakes are good, they're not as sharp as newer cars, so but this huge thing still stops, so that's a blessing, I would say. And like you hear that Benz engine down there, you know that this thing is not just a joke. This thing is going to live on for another 50 years, I guess. Okay guys, that's a wrap, and all I have to say is thanks to Mr. Edwin over here. He's the owner of this car, 24-year-old babe, and very well kept. And thank you. It's a pleasure to drive your car, sir.
Thank you.
I hope you many more miles on this and plenty of years to come.
Thanks for all the time you've given us.
You're extremely welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.